Alright, welcome to another edition of the Real Guy Garage, which this would be the third, I think. As you can see, that's Sherman, the Ford 2N Warhorse project. At the moment I have the front axle and the transmission and other bits and pieces at work, just for something to do. So I've been kind of cleaning up around here, trying to get things sort of squared away. But I figured we'll cover a couple other projects of mine. Well, this one's not a project, it's a donor. I bought this 2000 Dodge Durango SLT 4x4. I bought it off Facebook Marketplace, but it was actually from a customer of mine. The body on it is pretty tough. Well, that's an understatement. It's really friggin' rotten. She did put fenders on it and a bumper, and I mean, she loved it to death. She cried the day I went and picked it up at the truck and trailer, but I bought it for one reason and only one reason. This truck has a very, very well maintained 5.9 360 Magnum. Now, did I really need it? Probably not. But at the same time, I know and can go into our system at work and pull the entire history on this truck. All the service work she's done. When I did that, she's put, well over $6,000 into this truck in various repairs, and at least $3,000 of that into maintaining the engine and transmission. So it runs really well, and it's only got 275,000 kilometers on it, which sounds like a lot of mileage, but it's really not for a Magnum motor. It's not unheard of to pull the heads on a Magnum motor with 300k on it and it still have a crosshatch in the cylinders. So 275, that's nothing. Especially not when I know she's actually taking care of it pretty good. Other than that, it is a mess. It doesn't look too bad, other than the fact that as I open it, the door falls off a little bit. It has no rockers. The corner of the floor is gone if I pull up the carpet there. The interior is not bad, actually, though. But I mean, it just, the further you look at it, the hatch does not stay closed. Like I said, it's pretty tough. Now, what we have over here is my 1970 Plymouth Fury 3 Coupe. I bought this car in 2018. The first time I actually saw this car was in 2012. As you can see, I got lots of spares and stuff for it, but I bought it off a friend of mine, Dave Wheeler. Quite a few people in the Chrysler world would recognize his name. He's got quite a few really, really nice restored cars. One of which is a 70 Plymouth Fury, well, Sport Fury GT, and it's a factory 440 plus 6 car. So it's a 6-barrel car. But mine is a 383 car originally. It's originally Alpine white with a black all vinyl interior. Kind of sparse in options. I put the Sport Fury grill in it with the hideaways. Dave actually gave me that when I bought the car off him. But overall, for a car that I believe to be sold new in Toronto, it's actually a really solid car. It is. There's a lot of cheese in it in a couple places. Bottoms of the fenders, doors, quarters, front of the hood. But at the same time, underneath, this car is absolutely amazing in terms of condition. It, you know, it's a really solid car and a good foundation for a project. But give a little walk around it. So a lot of people have maybe seen the photo I chose. Well, there you go. That's it, basically. Because I actually had someone ask me why I didn't put the Plymouth lettering across the front of the hood on the car in the photo. Well, if you look, mine doesn't have that. Because somebody body filled it. But anywho. Hard to get the whole car in one frame. Now the driver's door is all screwed up, but that's another story. Anybody who has ever had a Chrysler product has opened the door and noticed that there's no floor pan. Well, this car does. The only rot underneath the entire car is what you see right there, which I have a good used piece that I kept from a parts car to go in there. I have a good set of door sills I bought off of Polera Dave out of Inela, New Jersey. The seats are actually correct Sport Fury bench seats, which everyone likes to think the Sport Fury automatically came with buckets. It did not. Not in 1970. They were optional. I have Sport Fury door panels for it and everything. I got the piece that's missing for the back seat. Overall, it's not a bad car. You know, it's got the usual lower quarter rot that you associate with, well, Chryslers. The rockers are pretty good. As I almost stepped on a bullfrog. Doors are a little crusty, fenders a little crusty, but I have fenders and doors for it. Like I said, I almost stepped on a very big bullfrog. Because let's compare that to the size of my hand, will we? That's a big frog. Anyway. Well, better yet. Now I'm a size 12, just to give you an idea. Anywho, I'll leave him be because he ain't hurting anything. I have taillights. I have rear valance that I got off my friend Manny. The trunk in this car is really good. This quarter is actually not bad. It's not filled, much to my surprise. But this is why I bought this car. See if you can see this here, but that's undercoat. That's all that is. But I mean, it is rock solid underneath. It is freaking solid, man. And if you're into seat bodies or any Chrysler products of this era, then you know that they like to rust, especially underneath. I put it up on a hoist, but I don't have one, so this is as good as she gets. Now right in here, I think there is a patch. I can feel something in here. Bottoms of the doors are crusty, and well, it just has a lot of little issues. But back to its optioning and such. Let me find my hood release. Which it sounds funny, like I don't know where it is, but I do know where it is, I just can't feel it. So, it has the invisible engine option. No, when I bought the car, it did not have an engine and transmission in it. It didn't when Dave bought it, I believe, which he bought it around 2000 to actually use for parts for his GT, and he ended up keeping it for reference. But anybody familiar with C-bodies automatically spots that it has the big booster, and that's a disc brake master cylinder. Oh, well, that's because this car does have disc brakes. So it's got disc brakes, heavy duty suspension package. It has heavy duty rear drums, so the 11 by 2.5. As I said, if we come over here, it was a 3 two-barrel 727 car. It has the light package. It has, if you look here, it's hard to see because the tag's kind of just dirty, really. But it had the inlaid side moldings with the black vinyl. Dave gave me another set of those actually for the car. But yeah, I put the Hideaway grill in it, which, as you can see, it's got the regular Fury headlights. It sounds kind of funny, but there is a difference. And this is one of the quickest ways to spot a car that was not Hideaway equipped. If you see, on top of it, you can directly see the headlights, which the door comes up and flips up and over. Right? Well, on a Sport Fury, let me find one here. Okay, there's one of them there. So they actually have a cover that goes above there with a rubber flap so that the light doesn't come out over top of the hood when you first turn on the lights. So that's kind of cool. So I got that stuff. I got a lot of the parts now to make it correct. Of course, I think it had a fairly hot 440 in it at one point because somebody's got the 440 badges off a Coronet 440. They got them affixed to the hood. Plus, I can see here it's got like the big thick 8.8 mil Excel wire run over to a coil that was mounted up here, which actually that's a good spot to put the coil to keep it cool and to keep it from leaking out. But I mean, overall the car's not bad. I see there's a bit of rot around the master cylinder, which when it comes to cars and C-bodies especially with firewall rot, yeah, I've been there and done that. It's got a bit of rot around the windows too. Somebody at some point has put a vinyl top on this car. It was not vinyl equipped. And you can see that when they did that, it just murdered every bit of the roof. The rear window especially. Like you see, there's some rot over there. Now, I'm not too particularly worried about that because I actually have some donor metal from a black 69 Fury I had for parts that had the same roof line as this. So I kept that for this exact reason, because I knew this car had rot there. And of course in the background there you'll see my 01 Ram 1500 4x4 quad cab 5.9 360 Magnum truck, and my trailer that I built a few years ago as well. And you'll actually see, if I go far enough up here, so there's my trailer. I built this trailer. It is probably the best thing I ever invested any money in doing. There's my Ram, which is a piece of crap, and I love it that way. And there's my 93 Chev, which I'll cover here shortly. Anyway, my plan is here that I've got quite a bit of body panels and things to swap around on this car. The Durango is going within the next week or two here. Gonna yank the motor and keep what's worth keeping, and it's on its way out. Man, that's just a cool looking car though, even without a motor in it. Speaking of motors though, so if we walk in the corner of the shop here, we have a 69 318, which is C solid. That come out of a 69 VIP I had for parts. I bought it actually, and the 69 two-door up near Godrich, and I bought it so that I could get the pair of doors that are sitting up here in the attic. So I know what you're thinking, well, why the hell would you buy a set of cars to get a pair of doors? Well, those are rust-free Southern doors, and he'd only sell them with the cars. So yeah, I ended up with them and the cars too. So there's another 70 Hideaway grill. There's a 70 rim blow steering wheel, 69 sport grain steering wheel, a couple of 69 70 horn ring wheels. Lots and lots of parts. There's 3 70 hoods, 2 with hood signals, 1 without. Extra front bumper and grille, which someone had made into a shelf. A pair of rust-free 70 doors that came off a 70 parts car I had. Pair of rust-free 70 Sport Fury fenders with original A4 silver paint still on them. And well, I got lots of parts for this car. We'll just put it that way. I got lots. There's no shortage. And yes, that's a Dodge Durango ad that my friend Kevin gave me. He gave me a couple of Chrysler ad posters like that. I just haven't had time to put some of the others up. So we come in here. So what's my plan for that car for a drivetrain? Well, what you're looking at there is a 1970 440 forged crank motor. It's a bare block, a good block. I already had it checked. It's date code correct for the car. The eventual plan is it's going to get punched over to 500 cubic inches. I want to do one of the 500 stroker kits with it. It's a 78 440 truck motor. That's cast crank. That is a 73 440 C-body motor out of a Chrysler. It's a forged crank motor. And that's hard to see, but there is a small block over there, and it's actually an E58 360 Pursuit motor. And well, you know, I get no shortage of crap, but a lot of this is going to go because I'm going to cut the Durango up, and a lot of my spare parts and things are all going to go in the garbage. Well, not garbage, but to the scrap, just because it's time to get things cleaned out so that I can get things done. Now, there's a couple of big block 727s kicking around here, but what I have for that car is actually an A833 4-speed, and this is a 69 Roadrunner one. I have the bell housing here somewhere, big block bell. There it is. I have competition shifter assembly, which is laying back there. Oh, the playing cards, they aren't for playing cards, they're actually for painting rims. Somewhere around here I have a bench seat 70B body shifter. Now I have the clutch pedals, I have the Z-bar, I have everything from a 3 on the tree 70C body. And the plan is eventually for this to be a 440 4-speed car. I want to build the motor out to look like a U-code motor. As most know, in 1970, in a C-body, you could not get a U-code motor in anything other than a police package. You could not get it in the GT. Your GT engine options were the T-code 350 horse motor or the V-code 440 plus 6. However, you couldn't get a 4-speed in it either, and I'm doing that, so what the hell, I might as well have a U-code motor in it. So, hopefully this has been somewhat enjoyable, listening to me ramble about my junk. And I'll be definitely posting some more videos as I pick away at things. Anyway, enjoy.